Ok, siamo live. Eccoci amici, bentornati su Trasferirsi in Irlanda. Per chi non mi conoscesse, il mio nome è Domenico, abito a Dublino da 11 anni. Oggi con noi abbiamo Elizabeth che ci segue da Milano. Lei è irlandese, vive a Milano da circa un mese, ok, quindi è nuova, si è trasferita da poco. Adesso le farò delle domande, parleremo in inglese in questa intervista, ok? E vi metterò i sottotitoli, se mi va, non lo so, vediamo, forse lo farò, dove potrete vedere in pratica cosa ci diciamo. E quindi iniziamo, parlerò in inglese adesso. Ok, Elizabeth, so thank you so much for accepting my invitation. Thank you for being here. Now, can you just introduce yourself to my audience? Just say, what you do, like just,
Yeah,
some information about you.
of course. So my name is Elizabeth. I am from Dublin and I teach English as a foreign language and I also lecture of learning skills and personal development. I am here in Italy, and firstly, I want to apologize to your viewers that I do not speak Italian. I am trying, guys. I am trying. The prepositions and the articles, everything is just Italian grammar. Oh my God. So bear with me. I will learn the language, I promise. But right now, it's like too much.
Great, Elizabeth. Okay, thank you. Yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's always hard to learn a new language, and Italian can be really tricky. Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's brilliant. Now, Elizabeth, so you said you were teaching English in Italy. So, what motivated you to move to Italy in the first place?
Oh my God, that's a very interesting question because if you asked me a year ago, I would have said Italy. What? No, I'm not moving to Italy. But I visited um, Bergamo and Lake Garda for a wedding last September, and I just fell in love with the country, with the food, with the culture, and I said, "Hey, do you know what? I'm moving to Italy." Unfortunately, I'm very spontaneous, so it's not like I had a lot of planning, a lot of thought to it. I'm very fortunate that my job allows me to move. I said, "Hey, do you know what? I'm going to Italy."
Perfect. Okay. Okay, so just to understand your situation a bit better. So you're working there for so you're not working for an Italian company, are you? So you're teaching
No,
for
I'm teaching online, so I have an opportunity to move to anywhere, essentially in European Union, which is brilliant.
that's great. That's fantastic. Very good. Very good. Because then afterwards we'll come to that. We'll come to the Italian economy and working conditions in Italy. Because I have a question about that as well. Now, what about? So, did you have any challenge when moving to Italy, like documents, renting a place? What were the biggest challenges so far?
I actually gonna say there has not been a lot of challenges. I am very blessed that I have lived in other countries. I've lived, for example, in Vietnam and Spain. And if I compare my move to Italy versus moving to Spain or Vietnam, Italy being perfect, almost perfect. Yeah, language, of course, is a barrier. I do not speak Italian. I find it very hard, even with the basic Italian that I have, to communicate because I get anxious, I get nervous, I forget words. As we know, people in Italy speak really, really fast. So I would say only the language barrier is what holding me back essentially from moving forward.
Okay, okay, brilliant. And are you planning to improve your Italian?
Yeah, so I have classes only once a week at the moment because with the move, with the work, I do not have a lot of free time. However, I'm hoping to enroll in like part-time course perhaps here where I can go in person or continue on learning online with a tutor, but increase my hours from once a week for an hour to at least 3 to 4, because it's very important. I understand as an English teacher, Learning a language for 1 hour per week is just not enough.
That's right. Yes, yes, that's right. Okay, very good. And I know it's only been a month, okay, but how do you like living in Italy so far?
Amazing. I absolutely, absolutely love it. There are so many more benefits that I can see to the life in Ireland that I had. Weather, of course, would be like it's screaming weather, weather, weather because maybe 1 or 2 days it has been raining, but the rest it's sunny. Now it's cold, but it's beautiful. It's sunny. The food is unbelievable. Absolutely, absolutely unbelievable. I'm stuffing my face with anything and everything I can get my hands on. Yeah.
Very good, very good. And the next question is about the Italian economy, because like as you may know, there are some problems with our economy, so it's a bit broken. So are you aware of it? Like because like many people don't know that. When I speak to my Irish friends, they are almost I don't know, almost dumbstruck when I tell them, look, do you know that there are such problems in Italy? Yeah. So what
I
are your
can't comment on the economy because I have not experienced anything yet. But I mean, every single country has problems. You know, take Ireland, we have housing crisis. I'm sure Italy has their own problems. At the moment, I have not experienced them yet. However, I could comment that a lot of videos online, in particular platforms, um, kind of make Italy look like this cheap, magical place. Being here for a month, it's not as cheap as people present online. You know, and I don't know, maybe because I'm in the northern part, maybe Milano is a big city. I don't know. I can't comment on other regions, but it's definitely not as cheap as some people online claim.
yeah. Yeah, that's right. So, like as you said, there is a big difference between the north and the south of Italy. So if you move further south, you'll see that prices are lower, definitely lower than the north of Italy. But there is like the other face of the same coin that is no job opportunities, which makes it difficult like to earn a good salary. Which yeah,
Yeah, I've been told because we're so close to Switzerland as well that there's a lot of people who live, for example, in Italy but work in Switzerland, so they're on a different salary, which makes the prices go up. I honestly don't know. I can only comment it's not as cheap um, as I thought. And also going back at the challenge, the question about challenges, one thing that I found very strange but similar to Spain is that you have to pay the agent. So when you rent an apartment here, you have to remember a huge amount for a deposit. And then on top of that, you have to pay to an agent, which is completely different to what I experienced in Ireland. And yeah, it was a bit of a slap in the face. Yeah, and a hard thing to swallow, being like, oh my God, I have to give this money for what essentially?
that's right. And I think another difference, we're talking about renting. I think another difference is that in Italy there is a kill fee. I think for to the contract. So if you want, you need to give like 6 months notice before you
Yeah,
can move. Something that it never happened to me in Ireland. It's only like a month.
exactly. Yeah. And another, sorry, talking about the differences, it's the 4 year. So here the contracts are 4 years. Even the broadband that I signed up is for 4 years, which to me is crazy because again in Ireland everything is 1 year.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Okay, very good. And now we're talking about a bit of the differences, like renting, contracts. What are the other differences between Italy and Ireland that you've experienced so far?
Culture. So here everything is much slower. Everybody's taking their time. There's no rushing around. particularly, let's say if I'm going to a restaurant or a cafe, I can take my time. Nobody's going to be like, you only have a table for an hour. Would you finish up and go? I sat literally with a cup of tea. I don't drink coffee, which we'll talk about in a moment, the price of tea. But nobody's kicking you out. Nobody's giving you a dirty look like, come on, you only ordered one thing, which I really appreciate. And also the medical service. So I had to see a doctor, for example, and I was shocked that it wasn't 15 minutes like we have in Ireland with a GP. It was a full hour was a person had a conversation with me, and I actually found it was a bit too long, and I was like, I don't even know what else to tell you. You know what I mean? Because I'm so used to in Ireland, it's like 10, 15 minutes. You have to like go, 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 go. This is what I feel. And then you out the door. So
Yeah,
it's amazing that yeah, you can take your time, you can have a conversation. And I love that people say hello to each other on the street, or if you enter a shop, everybody's always saying hello. And it's killing me that I don't speak Italian because I really want to communicate, but we'll cross that bridge when I need to. Yeah.
yeah. Sure. Yeah, of course, you'll get there very quickly. You'll see. Yeah, of course. And then I think living in the country helps. Like to improve your fluency. Yeah. Okay, so that's brilliant. And so you mentioned Italian people that they say hello, and what are Italian people like in your opinion?
I
Like, I mean,
amazing.
every,
So helpful. Oh my God, God bless them all, because I am trying to communicate through Google Translate. I'm writing on pieces of paper, asking for help, and I have not came across a person who did not help me when I needed, and I am so grateful and so happy that people are so open and so friendly. And even if they don't speak English, they still try to communicate with me, and I try to communicate in Italian, which is incredible. Like honestly, it's amazing.
that's nice to hear. I'm glad they're treating you well. That's good.
Yeah, yeah. Which I not like I was shocked, but it's nice as a foreigner who is trying to settle, trying to figure out all of these things. It's nice that it like, people are trying to help you rather than being like, oh no, she doesn't speak Italian. We're not gonna, you know, go away.
Yeah, that's okay. And so on the same vein, but on a different note, so I've lived here for a long time. I've been in Dublin for 12 years now, and I feel that Irish people they have a very good opinion of Italian people. Like when I say I'm Italian, everybody's always like, "Oh, I've been here, I've been there, I've been to Lake Como." Italians, the food is great. Like, what kind of image do you have of Italians in Ireland?
Good question. All positive. I can't think of anything negative. Always positive, very helping, welcoming, funny as well. The two Italians that I know are hilarious. Um, yeah, and obsessed with food.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. We're food snobs for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, big time. Okay, and yeah, that's brilliant. And the next question would be, so well, of course, so far we already mentioned this kind of a few pros and cons of living in Italy compared to Ireland. Okay, so you mentioned the weather, the culture. Can you think of anything else?
um, sorry. Repeat the question.
Sure.
I got lost in the thought.
So we already mentioned a few pros and cons of living in Italy compared to Ireland. Yes,
Mhm.
we mentioned culture, we mentioned food, weather. Can you think of anything else?
Okay, so pros and cons. So I'm gonna start with the negative. The tea situation. Oh my God. I'm sure I don't drink coffee. Okay. I'm sure the prices of coffee are much better, but the price of cup of tea. I think the most I have paid so far was like 6 quid. And
Wow.
yeah, it was a pot of tea, but I felt like they were robbing me blind.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
0, like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, where as far as I'm aware, coffee is like maybe like
Yeah.
much cheaper. I assume that what you pay in Ireland, so that's definitely a con for me. Next one is traffic.
Mm,
So I have just experienced probably the worst driving day in my life, driving through Milano. I wanted to cry. Okay,
yeah,
I always complain about traffic in Dublin. Guys, traffic in Dublin is nothing in comparison to Milano. Oh my God. I think I spent hour and a half driving a distance that should have taken me 20 minutes on a motorway, 5 lanes, 5 lanes. It was insane. And then once I got into Milano, city center, I was just like, what is going on? Like I madness. Yeah, con for me because I like driving. But on the plus side, I heard public transport is great. I haven't tried it yet, but I've heard it's good, so I probably should try it.
that's right.
I'm trying to think any other cons. S- That's the only two I could think of. And pros, as I've mentioned, weather, food, culture, kind of the medical services. So far, I found them much better than in Ireland. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think this is it so far. And I also love how people dress. I feel like here in Italy, you cannot get away with wearing leggings and putting your hair up in a ponytail. Like people take pride in their appearance, and it's really pushing me to dress better as well.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like in Italy, we say l'abito fa il monaco. That means like you are the way you dress. So like if you dress like in a smart way, it means that you're important. This kind of thing. That's what we believe. So we really kind of we take care of the way we dress. It's something cultural. Yeah.
Yeah, I really noticed that. And actually, one more thing that I absolutely love about Italy is how dog friendly. I've seen dogs everywhere, even in supermarkets, which is like to me, it's crazy because in Ireland you can't bring a dog anywhere, where everybody here have dogs in strollers, dogs are dressed in little clothes. Oh, it's adorable. It's incredible.
Mhm. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And now let's talk about Ireland for a minute.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, what kind of advice would you give to an Italian person wanting to move to Ireland? So, beside the obvious one, which is improving your English before moving, what else would you say?
I think do your research because as Dublin has different areas, for example, each of has its own pros and cons. A lot of not just Italians, but I think a lot of people who move to Ireland or to Dublin and specifically don't realize the differences in the areas, not really being familiar with how can I say terrible public transport is? Um, but I am sure people can agree. So I would say, yeah, do your research and also cost of living. Okay. Again, I saw some information online that was just bizarre to me because they were saying you need this amount and you can survive. And from living in Dublin, there's no way. Like you need a very specific salary if you want to survive because rent is very expensive, cost of living is very expensive. And I would say look outside of Dublin as well. Ireland is beautiful. There's so much to discover. There are a lot of beautiful towns. Don't focus just on Dublin because it's the capital. Like there's other places nearby.
Yeah, that's a really good advice, I think. That's what I tell my clients as well, that they should like look outside of Dublin because unfortunately the housing crisis is really kind of breaking our plans, to move to Ireland, which is like, yeah, it's making things a bit difficult for people who want to relocate here. And
Oh yeah, of course. And like no, for myself, for example, you could live outside of Dublin and commute and spend an hour, or you can live in Dublin and trying to get into the city centre, and it could take you 2 hours. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Because of the public transport. So
yeah, that's right. That's right. Sometimes, like if you live in one of the commuter towns, like outside of
Mhm.
Dublin, like you get to the city center quicker rather
Exactly.
than live
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
closer to the center. Like, yeah, yeah, that's right. Uh-huh. Yeah, the transport is a bit hit and miss, unfortunately. Yeah. Okay, that's good. And the last thing would be about the accommodation crisis. Okay, so we've already introduced the topic, but my question is the accommodation crisis really as bad as the media say it is?
Oh yeah. I think it's even worse. Um, like I can't even describe how bad it is. Talking with my colleagues, talking with friends, talking with my students who are based in Dublin, it's bad. I mean, it's terrible, and not just for renting. I have friends who are trying to buy. There's just not enough accommodation. So the only option people have is either not to buy and continue on renting wherever they are, or if they're renting, they have to share a room with several people because trying to find a place, an apartment or a house for themselves, it's pretty much impossible. So yeah, I think it's even worse, unfortunately.
That's right. That's right. I saw a few posts about people queuing up for to view an apartment. And myself, I bought my apartment 2 years ago, and I remember it was quite hard to get newer buildings. It was really, really
Yeah.
hard. Yeah, because there's just so much competition out there.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the difference as well that I found between renting here and in Dublin, for example. So in Dublin, like you could be sending, your CVs, your pay slips, all of the information and never hearing back. And if you're lucky to hear back, I'm talking about renting now, you don't have a choice. So the agent tells you, okay, you come tomorrow at this time, and it doesn't matter if you have a job or if you have any other responsibilities, like you have no say. You have to be there if you want to view this apartment. Where in Italy I found, even with my limited Italian, thank you to Google Translate, I was able to say, okay, how about this time, will that suit, like working around my work schedule. Where in Ireland it was like, no, you either there or you miss the opportunity. And even if you view in a place, there's practically a like zero chance the agent then is going to follow up, which it's terrible, because at least say no. You know what I mean? A lot of them just ghost you and don't say anything.
Yeah. One thing I don't like here is the ghosting. That sometimes, it happens when you're trying to find a place to stay, which is really terrible. Because, yeah, in Italy, well, the situation is different because we don't have an accommodation crisis. So there are loads of places available to rent. Therefore, the agents, like, they don't have the upper hand, like in Ireland. So they really need to bend backwards to make sure that they find the right client for the right place. In Ireland, they know they have the queue out the door.
Yeah,
So I think the reason why they don't really spend much time with each and every client, because they know they're gonna get their commission, so they don't really care. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, which is terrible. And it's the same. I've heard if you're buying a place, like if you want to buy a house, you can't even pick which one you want. If for the newly built, it's literally like, cool, be here, give us a deposit. And sometimes you don't even have an opportunity to view the house, which to me is just bonkers. It's crazy.
that's right. That's right. When I bought my place, like the viewing was like 10 minutes,
And
and then
you probably had to
afterwards,
make
like,
a decision straight away. Like, but it's
yeah,
like crazy.
oh, yeah, 10 minutes, and I made my offer straight away. But I know nothing about the place. I couldn't really inspect it. Well, right, I got an inspector afterwards, but even still, it was
Yeah,
very
it's
kind
literally cat in the bag because you don't really know
of,
what you're getting. It's crazy.
it is, yeah, yeah. Okay, Elizabeth. So I think that's it. So thank you very much for your time. Unless you have anything else you want to add.
No, I was just gonna say, like, one thing that I found very overwhelming here is grocery shopping. So buying food. I was telling my Italian friend that I went to a shop and the amount of choice, for example, pasta, there's like an aisle full of pasta, full of tomato sauce. Um, to me, it's just crazy. So many brands. I need to learn more essentially because it's like I don't know which one to get. And the sizes of the supermarkets, like I mean, you can get lost, which I did.
Yes. Right. Yeah. There is so much choice when it comes to food. Yeah, that's right. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Elizabeth, thanks again.
no
Thank you very
worries.
much. Kind, very helpful. And so that's it, guys. If you're looking to improve your English, maybe give Elizabeth, maybe contact Elizabeth. Is there any
Yeah.
way they can get you, Elizabeth?
I can share with you my email address that I use for teaching, and they can get in touch. And if anybody have any tips on how to tackle Italian grammar, please, guys. I am like I don't know who designed Italian grammar. Come on.
I know, it's crazy. Yeah. Anyway, thanks a million. So I'll add your email in the description below. So if you want to check it out, just check the description. And that's it. So thank you. Have
Thank
a
you
nice
so
day,
much.
everybody. Okay, bye bye.
Ciao. Bye.